It's time to start Dishin Days with your hosts, Tony Moore, Michael Mattis, Justin Hareld, and Araceli Avalos. And now, let's dish. Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. Welcome to Dishin Days, where we're serving up a full dish of this week's episodes of Peacock's exclusive #1 award-winning hit soap opera, Days of Our Lives. And if you want to follow the Days of Our Lives, make sure you hop on over to our social media. We are Dishin Days Show on Facebook, Dishin Days on Instagram, and Dishin Days on Twitter. Also, make sure you listen to us on your favorite podcast station. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Quick shout out to a wonderful gentleman named Brett that I met from Houston, who told me that he listens to us on the podcast. He is one of the people that, while he's on a long drive or on a treadmill, he is listening to us on his favorite podcast station. So shout out to Brett.
Where'd you meet Brett?
I met him this weekend. This past Friday at Mickey's. He came in for the viewing of Drag Race, and then he came up to me and he was like, "You're Tony from Dishin Days," and it always kind of throws me off when someone like refers to Dishin Days while I'm at Mickey's.
Yeah, right.
And I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "I listen to your podcast all the time. I love Days," and I was like,
"Oh, cute."
I was like, "Oh, thank you, Brad. I appreciate you." So we took a picture. Okay, so we took a picture and everything, and so I'm gonna post it on our Instagram because I said we have to get a photo, and I'm gonna post it on Instagram. So shout out to Brett. He and his husband were very nice and very kind, and they enjoyed themselves.
Oh, husband.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Tony, did you have a little guest starring role? No.
That ain't Tony.
I hate you so much, Michael Mattis. I hate you so much. The flame inside of my face.
Oh, I guess if Brett's watching, it maybe won't appreciate that. My apologies.
You know,
Brett's fine. Okay.
You know, ever since we left AfterBuzz, Michael Mattis has just become much. He used to be real
He's not
quiet.
chained by those rules. Yeah.
No. He's like rules. What rules? Oh wait, I was still in my church announcements. So yes, make sure you buy our merch. Thank you, Michael Mattis. Head on over to dishindays.threadless.com. Check out all of these amazing things that you could be wearing on your body, on a mug, as a towel, or a journal. So make sure you go to dishindays.threadless.com and buy some merch to support us here at Dishin Days. And also for your full soap opera fix, head on over to my good Judy, your chocolate twin and former co-host of Dishin Days, James Lott Jr., JLJ Media on the YouTubes. Go and check out Bold and the Beautiful, General Hospital, and Young and the Restless recaps, along with some original audio dramas brought to you by JLJ Media on YouTube. And our good Judy and co-host, Araceli, is too busy to come and log on and talk about this week's episodes because she works hard for her money. So we treat her right. She needs to keep you. Araceli don't keep us in place.
I know. I just wrote that too. I was like, no one keeps us.
She just sits there and is like.
She silently judges us for the.
It's either that or she becomes very passionate about something. Guys,
don't mess with Stephanie.
Okay, that was my Araceli impression. Let me know how I did. So Araceli, I'm sure she's somewhere tuning in, but she will be back next week.
Not Bruce.
What, Bruce? Oh, the shade. Bruce, ain't nobody been getting paid for Dishin Days for the past 8 years, so everybody's been showing up for free.
We'll be announcing our next happy hour soon, speaking of.
Okay. So what do we think of this week's episodes of Days?
I thought it was a pretty decent week. Sorry, Justin. I think Friday was my favorite episode of the week. Friday was when everything kind of started.
Yeah.
Like the gas started going on the storyline, and I was very entertained with Friday's episode.
Me too.
Yeah, I really like this week. I feel like we got a little bit of everything, kind of, and things were moving along much more than like the last 2 weeks for me. I thought this week was a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
I really just could have. I'm glad that Friday's episode was just of heaven because I needed more of that.
Yeah.
So it was fun. I thought this week was pretty good. Again, I'm like Michael. Friday was like my favorite episode. I was like really into it. So
yeah.
Speaking of being really into it, let's get into all of this. Lord. It is now. I don't know where to put this now. Okay, there we go. It is now time to start.
Dishin
days.
Lord have mercy. Jesus on the main line. Tell them what you want. All right. We're going to set it and forget it. Speaking of our... Michael Matters.
What did I call this one?
We need these to go up on the screen.
So what many don't realize is that Michael Matters is the one that does our rundown. And so we decided instead of, listing all the characters, we would just, give the storylines names. So we left Michael Matters in charge of that. Now, looking at this rundown, I think we made a poor decision. Because what did Michael Matters title this one? And excuse me, Mom, because you're watching. But Michael Matters decided to title this storyline Heaven and Shit.
I'm telling you, the people need to see them. If Michael's gonna go through the trouble of naming them, they need to be put up there on the screen.
Well, you know what that gives Michael Matters? Yeah, there we go. Here we are. There's that storyline.
Yeah.
So now that this gives Michael Matters yet something else to do.
I'm not doing it every time. No.
Every time Michael Matters because
you're already coming up with them. That's the
I decline.
Yeah. Might as well show it.
Well, you can't decline because Justin and I vote that the subject of the storyline is put up so that people know where we are, and I think everyone else would agree. Comment below,
yes,
if you agree. So speaking of heaven, what did we think of all the stunt shows and shenanigans that were happening? First of all, can I start off by saying this? And I would like to know everyone else's opinion. Was it a missed opportunity for the devil to be Stefano?
To be Stefano?
Yes.
I thought about that early on when you mentioned it, Tony, a couple weeks ago, but I don't know how they would have pulled it off by outside of just showing like a wheelchair or a man's hand with a ring on it. Are you thinking a recast? Is that where you're kind of, or do you mean?
No, so I was thinking about this because I was watching this episode while I was on the elliptical because, I'm trying to work out and things. And I thought
over here.
and I the first thing I thought was, okay, there are a lot of front shots of Doug, which, I didn't mind it being Doug because Doug reintroduced the devil this year, right? Mm-hmm. But the whole time I kept thinking like, man, what if it was Stefano? What if it was Stefano? And I was like, well, how could they have done it? And I was like, well, when he was first revealed, like when she walked down, it could have been like the hand, like I said, with the Phoenix ring on it, right? And if they ever went to the front, it could have just been in a cloak. But whoever did like the voice would have sounded very similar to Stefano, but it would have been distorted like the devil to where like Marlena would have known. And then even with the whole like, you're gonna spend eternity down here with me. I was like, oh, because she was always his queen of the night. And so it would just make sense if this were Stefano and the devil, like everything would go hand in hand. And I know some people are saying like, no, like let, RIP to Joe Mascalo and leave Stefano alone and all this kind of stuff. But the thing about it is the show has always mentioned Stefano in some form or fashion, even with the passing of Joe, because Stefano was such a huge part of this show. He's still mentioned. Um, um, Stefan, with the portrait, still talks about him too. And Megan, I thought the same thing. What if it was like some ghostly like figure that was just floating? You know what I mean? But I mean that would have cost money. But I then just kind of thought, what would it have been like? And was this a missed opportunity? And I was like, I wanted to bring that up and ask.
I wouldn't call it a missed opportunity. Like, it still had, impact. Like that part of the story still had impact with Doug being the devil this time, and it made sense this go around, since like you just said a few minutes ago, Doug was the one that was first. When the possession came back, he was the first one that got possessed. So I thought it made sense. I don't think it would have been interesting, but I don't think it was necessarily a missed opportunity.
Okay. Justin?
Yeah, I would have been on board for that. I wouldn't have minded that. I don't have any qualms about like bringing someone back in that sense when we know the person's past and you're playing on. I don't know. To me, the other stuff they did with Stefano is more offensive than bringing him back as the devil.
What,
like
Stefano?
Yeah, like that stuff to me is more weird than having him as like a figure, a figure that works with the devil. To me, that actually makes sense, and it would be a good use of bringing him back. So yeah, I wouldn't have minded that.
And also, I was like, well, it would also. Can you imagine if she went down there and was like, Sammy, are you dead? I was like, no, I'm not.
I just want to talk to you.
Right. But I also felt like it would have solidified Stefano being dead.
Yeah.
Too. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? My problem with it being Doug is he isn't dead. But they did explain that.
Yeah.
They explained that the devil took the form of someone that she would feel comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes sense. So I don't know. Yeah. What else did you guys like about, all the shenanigans in heaven?
I like that Kate just was like, okay, she wants to, spend eternity in hell and we can go. She's like, that's fine. And how Kayla was so adamantly against it. And it took Kate some convincing to be like, okay, we'll stick together, I guess.
Yeah.
And then that whole interaction with Kate, like trying to reach out to Roman hearing her voice, Anna being like, what the fuck? And then calling her Ghost. I think Ghost Kate is right. And then add Anna into it. And Leanne Hunley just does such a great job of this kind of just, I don't even know how to describe Anna, just this kooky kind of character. And, she plays it off very funny.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I was very entertained by that whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, someone, Al Gregory had a great idea of, instead of showing Stefano's face, they should have had a chess set in front of where the devil was sitting, and Marlena having to beat Stefano at chess to free the lady's soul.
Interesting. Yeah.
That would have been interesting.
Yeah. I'm liking seeing Blake back as Nick. I feel like whenever they bring him back, he's always having a good time.
And talk about the assistant from hell.
Yeah. I don't know if this is like retribution, because like the last time we see Nick, he was the character has gone through a metamorphosis since he first premiered on the show until he died. And those last few years I felt like were really rough on the character. So I feel like whenever they bring him back, it's nice that he gets to be snarky and kind of has fun with it, as opposed to being, this dour sort of pseudo rapist and homophobe and all those kind of things that they put him through. So yeah, I like seeing him in this sense.
Yeah. He had.
I did not like the sound effects of.
Yeah, the screams were weird. Yeah.
I was just like, that's. Don't too much.
It was a bit unnerving, yeah.
And it was screams, and then it was just like weird sounds.
Yeah.
I was like, well, and I started to think, I was like, was that outside? Like I thought,
I did too. Yep.
I started to think it wasn't on the TV.
Yeah.
I mean, it made sense to me because like you heard like fire going and all that kind of stuff. I was like, well, they definitely are in hell. So, And along with Kate contacting Roman, I like that Kayla figured out a way to like go down and be like, hey, this
Yeah,
is
like,
what.
Hey.
Yeah, and I actually thought that I thought it was a dream until she
Mhm.
started explaining what was
yeah, me
happening, and I was
too.
like, oh, this is real.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and then when they went back to heaven, uh, and Nick was like, somehow somebody went down to visit, Steve, and
Uh-huh.
Kate's like,
Bitch.
what? You went and visited Steve? And she's like,
Yeah,
well,
you
I
could do
had
that.
to.
Yeah.
It's I really think that this storyline is fun. I it
Mhm.
just the things that they've been able to do and the people that they've been able to bring back and the twists and turns of this, you know, mid realm between heaven and hell.
Yeah.
And seeing each of the ladies just kind of like go through stuff. Like I know some people are like, oh my god, get a new head writer. Oh, this is so stupid. Blah, blah, blah. And you're allowed to have those opinions. However, I think it's fun. I think it's a different change of pace.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Fun. It's silly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I still want to know what's going on. They're not dead. I don't think like, I just don't know. I don't know how or why or what, but
Can you imagine if they like if suddenly like this was another storyline? Like if they remain dead, like we just always cut back to heaven
Oh, that was always they never
or
get out
hell.
of
oh
it.
well, if this was like in the 90s, this would go on for six,
Must be
7 months
yeah,
probably. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
they move a little quicker nowadays,
A
but
little quicker.
however, I did see the death date on the headstone of January for Kayla. She died on January 9th, and I was like, it is February 19th.
Yeah. Right.
Now I know that's probably only like 2 days in Salem. I was like, that body's a month and a half dead, and they're
Well, they've been
just
planning the
burying it.
funeral for 6 weeks.
And we didn't even like, and I
I'm
guess
actually glad we
I've
didn't
heard.
see it though.
I mean, okay, but and I understand. Like, it was explained that to do funerals and weddings now, and to have a bunch of people, it's more time, it's more money, and
Mhm.
all that. But it was just kind of odd. It was just odd to me being like, oh, the funeral's done. Okay.
Mm.
Mhm.
Like, and then Will was back, or I guess Will has he been in town?
Yeah.
He was back yeah,
Who?
Thoroughly
and they're
confused
leaving.
about Will.
Bye. We'll get to that in a minute. But
Yeah.
that's all I
Anywho,
gotta say.
John Del Rey says, I need more panic and fear from the ladies. They treat the prospect of going to hell and the devil as though they are arguing with a kid running a lemonade stand. There's no urgency. I mean, but these women are from Salem. Does anything, like, are they scared of anything at this point?
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. But
Who made the comment? Who made the comment this week? Which character made the comment about I've been in Salem long enough to know anything's possible? Was it Paulina?
Anna.
Anna.
Yeah.
Okay.
was
Yeah.
it Anna?
Yeah, when she was like, "This is Salem." Roman said something. Oh, he said something about hearing Kate or talking to Kate, and she was like, "This is Salem." Like nothing.
Yeah.
You live here long enough. Yeah.
Anna knows what's up.
Yeah,
Anna's like, these
yeah.
bitches aren't dead.
Yeah.
Check
And the way she keeps looking at that urn, she was just like,
Oh no, I thought she was gonna open it, but
I thought she was too, but she was just like, "Hi, Kate. Maybe you can't talk back, so I'll do all the talking." I'm like, "This is so classic, Anna." And I forgot for a split second that Anna and Roman were together.
Mhm.
yeah, Carrie's their kid.
Yeah.
No, I meant like that, but also like, didn't they try to rekindle?
Oh
Like
yeah,
the past few?
Yeah, briefly.
yeah.
Yeah.
A couple
Yeah.
years ago or something. Yeah.
See, I mean, that was before my time. So
Mm.
that the first time,
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Well, now that we're done with the stuff in heaven. Oh wait, no. Sorry. There's more stuff. Um, Kate and
Yeah,
Caleb were trying to trying to contact Roman and Steve about um the whole plan that they had for Orpheus. And I wanted to be like, of course, Orpheus was going to figure it out. Like, Orpheus lives life like it's a game of Clue.
Yeah.
And half of the stuff that he thought about, I would have just been like, he's drunk? That was quick. Oh, okay.
No,
But
it's okay.
go
Sorry.
ahead.
I actually did. I knew you. I thought maybe Orpheus didn't give him alcohol, and that's why he knew it. For a second, I was like, did he switch the bottle with something else, and that's why he knew? I was like, oh,
that would be the way they write Orpheus. He knows, like he just knows people are like trying to pull shit on him.
Yeah, that's why I thought maybe there was something else in that bottle. So when he was like, he got drunk, meaning like he was going to reveal like, oh, that bottle didn't actually have alcohol in it or something.
A report from my mother. I think all of the hell in heaven is a great job. Hate to see Chanel break up with her girlfriend. Oh, thanks, Mom, for just giving me an overview of the week. she didn't even wait until we got there. She was just like, let me text him all of my ideas now, so that way we get it all out of the way. Right. My first question though, when we cut to and Orpheus was strapped to the bed, I was like, so he ain't put up a fight? He ain't run out? They were able to just...
They were able to subdue him that easily?
Two of them, 2-on-1, I guess.
But there's something about Orpheus where Orpheus is just like, yeah, I'm not scared. Because I'm like, you couldn't tell that was John because they ain't got no mask, no disguise, no anything. They got on scrubs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I figured he had we'll see on, I guess, Monday maybe, but he had the sort of ace in the hole of like, I still have something on them that they might want to know.
Yep. I still have a pretty good idea of who stole the orchid.
Yeah. I'm with you, Tony.
Mm-hmm. I think now we're all on the same page of who actually stole the orchid. So I think that's why Orpheus was being so calm, because he's like, listen, I had nothing to do with it. But I know who did. And if you kill me, he does. Of course. It's like, if you kill me, you won't know.
But now it's also a matter of, I'm wondering too, is this a bigger thing than just the orchid, or is this person associated with Orpheus before that? Do you know what I mean? Because then how would he know that person took the orchid? Do you know what I mean? Like,
it's Orpheus.
Is this person a mastermind working with Orpheus and set the original plan up too? You know.
Henry's up in bed just eating the orchid.
It's Rachel. Rachel's the mastermind behind all this.
You know what? I blame Charlotte.
I sent those bitches to hell.
I blame Charlotte.
Charlotte.
That's why she doesn't speak.
That's why she doesn't speak. She's just silently stewing.
Michael Mattis, you and these.
What?
I can't. So that's it with all the heaven and shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now we're moving on to stealing the Spectator.
I'm so interested in this storyline. This one's still,
I am too. I'm just surprised how. I guess maybe not surprised. Maybe it was just like, okay, fuck it, take the Spectator. Like how easily Jack and Jennifer gave up. I thought it may have been more of a back and forth battle first.
No, Jennifer didn't give up. Jack was just more worried about,
Well, yeah, I'm saying Jack gave up. Yeah,
and Gwen and Jennifer was like, "No, I'll go to jail, but you are not taking the Spectator. We worked hard, and you guys have no idea what it's like to run a successful paper, whether people like it or not. You know what I mean?" And
they need more than Mrs. Feather Whistle Bottom, whatever.
Not Feather Whistle
Bottom.
I cannot. Lady Whistleblower.
Lady whistleblower, that's right.
I just, like the looks in Xander and Gwen's face. I'm like, I don't even believe you guys really want the Spectator.
I know they seem so, especially Gwen. Gwen, you can tell, has mixed feelings about it. I think Xander's more on board than she is.
But I'm like, can't you just like blackmail yourself into a job?
And then they still won't. Yeah. I mean, I'm liking it. I'm liking the three of them. I really like got a like cheer out of like Xander snatching Sonny. It was like, when Sonny had Leo sort of roughed up and he grabbed him, it was like, leave him alone or whatever. And it was like, there's some
going after your friend. Okay.
Yeah.
Not going after your friend, helping your friend.
Yeah.
I thought that too, even though Leo annoyed me this week.
Yeah.
Sonny and his self-righteousness annoyed me more.
Yeah, I like them as like a threesome of troublemakers. I'm okay with that now. I didn't like it so much when they were like separately plotting and like the stuff Leo was doing before I wasn't on board with, but this stuff for some reason I'm like on board with.
Yeah.
Same. I also think that that scene with Gwen and Xander and Jack and Jennifer was interesting because they were sort of all telling each other off, but I felt like they all had points. Like it wasn't like, Jack and Jennifer were right about them and they had nothing to quit back to them, but I felt like they all had really good points about who each of them were.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this storyline. Because I'm like, listen, Gwen, Xander, can y'all just like ride off into the sunset and be okay? Like, if you didn't want to turn them in, fine, but just leave the fam alone. You kind of put them through enough. Just everyone go back to how it was before you came to Salem. I don't know. That's how I feel about it. And that's pretty much it, right? Did I miss anything?
Yeah.
Do you think, like, can we put this to a vote? Are you team Xander and Gwen or Jennifer and Jack?
Xander
and Gwen.
Really?
Yeah.
Like for what they're doing and trying to steal the Spectator and everything?
Maybe it's just
kind of okay with it. Yeah.
I know so much. Yeah, so
I know.
much.
Like, it's weird.
Not that I necessarily like think what they're doing is right,
yeah,
but it makes for good soap.
Yeah.
Well, for good soap and TV, because this is real. These are real people.
Totally, 100%.
But taking the show and the drama aspect out of it. If we were if we were three Salemites, and I came up and I said, "Girl, I work over at the Spectator, right?" And a little birdie told me that Gwen Resbucia, what's her Gwen Rescheck, done blackmailed Jack and Jennifer, trying to steal the Spectator, honey. And that fine Greek goddess of a man looked like a statue. His name, Xander, him, Gwen and Xander. They trying to steal the Spectator, honey. What would y'all say? Y'all would still be team Gwen and Xander, or you'll be team Jack and Jennifer?
I'd be like, well, what did they have to blackmail them on to begin with?
Yeah, exactly. What are they blackmailing?
Like, what did they do?
Baby, I don't know what they did, but it must be something good and juicy for this woman to say, I want your Spectator newspaper.
But then remember too, it came up again this week, and I don't know, again, this is like a weird through line to bring up. It's ancient history now, but they brought it up again that, like, remember Jack stole it from Diana to begin with, Leo's mom. So it's like, I mean, not that that's here nor there, but it's just another through line of like, listen, let me check you on your own innocence. Somewhat
karma.
Yeah, it's kind of like
if he stole it, now he's getting it stolen from him.
Yeah.
But then wouldn't Leo be the one stealing it?
Well, yeah, but I mean, he's part of that.
He's part of the thievery.
Yeah.
He gets to be Lady Whistledown-Bottom.
Lord have mercy.
Oh, I love that. Lady Whistle Down Bottom.
You know what it is? I was thinking of, if you ever watched Arrested Development, one of the characters was trying to be like Mrs. Doubtfire and called himself Mrs. Featherbottom.
Oh.
So that's where I got that from. That's what I'm thinking of. Mrs. Featherbottom.
Bless your heart. All right. Well, let's move things right along. Hey, for those of you who are not watching us live, comment down below. Let us know what you think about the stealing of the Spectator and whose team are you on. Let's move on to.
There were a lot of Jack and Jennifers.
There were a lot.
There were more Jack and Jennifers than Gwen and Xanders, but
told you. Let's move over to the DiMera dilemma.
Where do we start with this one? Where do we start with this one? I don't know.
Well, can I just say I got a good chuckle when Gabi told Lee, and he called me Chloe, and Lee was just like,
yeah.
No. What's really funny is like, I was like, oh, I would laugh if I was him. Then he started laughing. Yeah. I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was so funny. Yeah. I was just like, he cackled at that so hard.
Yeah. He was like, bitch.
Exactly, in a way of like,
yeah. See you on the Stefano. I mean, you want Stefan.
Careful what you wish for. Yeah.
Right. Stefan's being like a little player. He's like, calling Chloe and sending flowers to her for Valentine's Day, then being like, oh, well, she didn't work out. Hello, Gabriella. When they played the voicemail, it reminded me of that moment on He's Just Not Into You. Oh, Sandy, Sandy. Call me back, baby. And then he called back, oh, Shelly. And I was that's what it reminded me of. But yeah, he's a little player. He needs to take a page out of Alex's book. I'm not a player no more. I'm just crush a lot. That's what he need to do. But how are we feeling? I mean, it's so many triangles. And so many and I you know what, when Stefan was talking and he mentioned that opera, I was like, like, you do know that's not Chloe, sir. You know that's not Chloe, right? But I okay, can we agree that there's something wrong with Stefan?
Something wrong with Stefan.
Now that he's had his brain zapped billions of times, I think there's some wires that are crossed.
Yeah, I feel like that's the way they're leaning, as opposed to him naturally. I don't know. It's weird because they kind of started to address that, and he himself sort of tried to make it clear that to what's the name, Johnny and Wendy, that it wasn't Ralph's influence that makes him like Chloe. But the way he regards them, I don't know. It's strange. I'm with you. It's like
now that you mentioned
that, but he also plays it as if he's in like a daze about these two women, like he's under a potion or something.
Now that you mention it, I see what you guys are talking about. It didn't click in my mind when I was watching it. I thought that was just like the way, what's his name, Brandon decided to play it. But you're right, like. Yeah, so maybe something's wrong. And I thought, his demeanor, turning against EJ or like trying to drug EJ, maybe that's part of it too. Maybe would he be doing that if the brain stuff didn't happen? If the karaoke brainwashing and the one before.
That came first.
Well, yeah, it came first. So, but he had already been brainwashed once.
Oh.
Now he's brainwashed again. Okay. So maybe maybe that was induced. Maybe that's part of if something is wrong with him, if he is going through some kind of daze, if that's part of it, or if he would have done that regardless of brainwashing. Because he wasn't, Stefan has a history of doing not so scrupulous things.
Yeah, he's not.
So it is kind of in the character's nature. So, well, okay, here we go. Stefan has always been a mental case. Wait, where is it? There it is.
Well, because I felt like with him, with his emotions like kind of being all over the place and switching back and forth, and like I'm head over heels for Gabi. I'm gonna poison EJ. I miss Chloe. It's kind of like
Yeah.
it feels like
maybe he's gonna have an alternate personality.
malfunction.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't know. There's something that we got to pay more close attention to for sure. Oh, okay. Now, where do we? Hi. Now where do we go from here?
Well, we can go to EJ because EJ is starting to feel something because of the drugging.
Mm-hmm. And Chad almost took it, but Chad was like, bleh.
Yeah, it actually spit it back in the cup.
I feel like Chad, I feel like they just needed to give Billy episodes this week. I know he had his thing he had another, family scene with Stephanie, but I didn't see like the point of him being in that DiMera conversation. I don't know. I was like, what?
It was a little odd. It was like, where's this relationship coming from? Yeah, it was a little odd of a younger brother coming in and being like, "Hey guys," and like, I'm stopping by. What's up? Let's have a drink. It was like, oh, what are you, Chad?
It's very much like that soundbite. Boom, boom. Hey, how y'all doing? Hey.
What?
You never seen that? It's like from Little Women. Like I don't know which city, but it's like she walks in and everyone's just like,
"Oh, Little Women
yeah. And she's like,
the movie.
Like, she's like,
not the esteemed play Little Women, not the
where they're coming to the party and they're like, hey, and everyone's just like,
how y'all doing?
Yeah.
Well, since we're talking about Chad, can
Michael was like, Little Women? What are you talking about?
Thinking of like pilgrims and stuff.
Pilgrims and shit.
Can we talk about, since we brought up Chad? Can we talk about Chad and Stephanie really quick?
Y'all can. Go for it.
This is too like somebody even said. This is like she's another Abigail. It's like Abigail Light or something. Like it just. You should have kept her with the Helix.
Yeah, I still just feel like it's too soon.
Yeah,
it's too soon. It's too soon and it's too fast. And I'm still gonna say it. I might sound ridiculous, but Charlotte is like, can I not be bothered with these stunt shows and shenanigans? She just says over there
like, waiting for Thomas to give her cues.
She's literally just like, I'm here for the check.
Oh, too funny.
Oh, my mom has a prediction. Do you guys want to hear it?
Always.
Mm-hmm.
My mom says, and I quote, on February 19, 2023 at 3:43 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Stephanie is going to be pregnant and she don't know who the baby daddy. Watch and see.
I think that too, yeah. I think your mom's 100% right about that.
Gee, who had that storyline a few years ago? Abigail. Oh. Gwen gonna push her down the stairs.
Oh.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Me World says, Charlotte not talking bothers me. Charlotte ain't got nothing to say. Like, can I please go in the other room and play my toys? We done gave her cookie. She done gave us her Happy Valentine's Day, and I gotta go.
Oh, I think Abigail's had that storyline twice.
Yeah.
Once with Ben and Chad, and then once with Chad.
I keep
and
forgetting, like,
Stefan.
now that Rob's playing, and I know other people have a hard
Oh,
time
did I?
with seeing him as Alex. I don't personally, but I did get a kick out of when someone was like, oh, now he's in another triangle with Chad. And I was like, another one? It like completely skipped my mind that he was Ben with that and Chad. And it totally skipped my mind, but I know other people are getting so stuck up on the fact that he
it's the same
character,
it's
now
he's it's the same actors, but different characters. And I've kind of forgotten, which I guess is a testament to Rob.
Yeah.
But that Ben was not that Ben was a character, but that Ben had a time before Sierra.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He had relations before Sierra.
Him had relations.
Relations.
But no, I think that's where I kind of think that's where we're headed with the story, because it's a little too perfect with her and Chad now. It's like instant family.
So perfect, and it's so schmaltzy, and I can't stand it. I'm just
schmaltzy?
Like schmaltzy.
Yeah.
It's not fun to watch.
Yeah.
Well, again, because
I've never liked that. That's not particular to them.
It's too
even soon. Back in the day when Bo and Hope got back together and Sean Douglas was like, "We're a family again." I was like, fast forward.
Wow. I just think it's too soon. And I think I would be okay if it were just them. But when you bring the kids involved and they're being cute too, it's like it's
so
too much.
It's like overkill.
Yeah.
I feel like Charlotte wants to go, she ain't my mama.
That would have been interesting.
Okay,
that
exactly.
Interesting.
The fact that they're so accepting of this is just like to your point, Tony. One of them would be like, "Nah."
It's gonna be Charlotte. Charlotte, let me tell you, Charlotte's first line at some point, as they get closer, is gonna be, "She ain't my mama."
With the attitude of.
She's gonna say that and she's gonna twirl. She's gonna twirl away. And then Tom's gonna be like, Charlotte. And then Chad's gonna look at Stephanie and go, I'm so sorry. And then Stephanie's gonna go, she's right.
Charlotte needs to channel some Rachel. I was like, well, they are cousins. She needs to put
everybody's on board with this scenario, by the way. Everybody's on board with it.
You know what? I really wish we made. My gosh, all the work that we do on the show already. I just always feel like a lot of this stuff should be clipped and just put out into the ether.
Clip.
Like someone please clip. Like start clipping your favorite parts of the show and just like put them out. We'll retweet it.
Yeah.
But
just give little sound bites during the week. Yeah. This is Charlotte's reaction to
Don't do it for me. Do it for Tony and Justin. I don't need to rehear the things I say.
No, Michael Mattis too, because Michael Mattis
I'll
says
get blacklisted.
No, you won't. You'll be fine. All right, so let's talk about the couples, shall we? And the lovely dinner at the Bistro. We now know it's called the Bistro.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, Ari Zucker.
Yeah.
That dress.
Yeah.
Said goodbye, Eric. Hello, EJ.
Yes. Yeah.
And don't you forget me. So I just want to point that out. But what do we think of this couple's date?
It was. Okay.
No, go ahead.
I mean, they were laying it on really thick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm surprised. Sloan was sort of getting annoyed at the end. I'm surprised I'm surprised they didn't get storm out and leave them two there. I mean, they were laying it on really thick.
Yeah.
All she could talk about was Eric. All he could talk about was Nicole. And look, what is she doing? He's holding her hand up. They're touching. Do you think they I was like, you're on a Valentine's date with someone else.
Someone else.
Yeah. They've never been that blatantly lean into it the way they did, those episodes. But yeah, it was
my favorite in that dinner scenario was the waiter or the waitress.
She took the last one. It's like, how you know that? How How you know
She's
that?
like,
How you
listen,
know?
it's the last one. Don't ask
Poor
me about
waitress
nothing
making
else. And take the table and
$2.15 an
off.
hour. And you could just see the look on her face. She's like, it's Valentine's Day. It's busy. I don't want to deal with this shit.
It's
She's
the
like,
last table.
She took the last one.
and what was it? What did she take the last of? Like a steak?
It was a steak, yeah.
Yeah.
I know, as if like they would ruin the restaurant would run out of steak.
I will say, I worked in an Italian restaurant, and one Valentine's Day, we ran out of, well before closing, we ran out of meatballs, we ran out of meat sauce, and we ran out of lasagna. We had to close
That's
early.
bad planning. That's just poor planning.
That's horrible planning.
So I guess it's possible.
Here's my thing though. If I were EJ or Salem, I would have left.
Yeah.
I would have left because the fact that they were just always like.
So wait, who got the last? Did Sloan get the last steak?
Yeah, Sloan.
Yeah.
I would have been like, I'm out of here.
Can you imagine if Nicole? Can you imagine if Nicole got up and was like, "Excuse me," and like had a fork and just went.
Oh God!
I like the whole time that it's just always like, look at those two over there, just holding hands down. Oh, I'm just like, stop paying attention.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! And then that whole like, I forgot my glasses.
I know.
Let me go get you some aspirin. And then it's like, oh, we're running into each other, and there's no possible way
and that
Salone, that Salone and EJ. I'm like, you're literally standing by EJ's table. Like, if I wish there was a camera that cut to EJ, like
they were a foot and a half from the table. And I'm actually glad EJ said, I heard you. Like, you're standing 2 feet away. Right, I heard your whole conversation.
I heard the whole conversation as I'm sitting here eating bread. My mom says, my mom is very chatty today, first of all. Shout out to mom. My mom says Eric wants Nicole and she wants him. They will get back together. All right, being team no one. Not Gina Marie taking a poll of who's more boring. Eric and Nicole, Chad and Stephanie. Y'all are so making. And not you answering it.
I was like, I'll answer it. Yeah.
Listen, I think Chad and Stephanie would be right later.
Yeah.
I think right now she should have gotten as much of Alex as she could. Because I would have.
Shocking.
How dare you?
But I agree.
You see now.
But I agree.
And then, well, we'll talk about her later on down. All right. So now before we get into our tidbits, just want to remind you guys of a quick few things. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms. Check us out on your favorite podcast station. Also, buy our merch. And that is a wonderful reminder brought to you by the kind folks here at Dishin Days. Let's go into our tidbits. The homos hightail it out of Salem.
I chuckled when I saw that one.
Lord. I was like, oh, okay, this is how everyone's going to leave. Will's face did not say welcome. Will's face said, who else wants to come with me to New Zealand? Who else is coming?
He was like, I think it's a great idea. Blah, blah, blah. I was like, no, he doesn't.
Yeah,
I know that. No. He just can't say no. He just doesn't want to say no. And like the audacity of Allie to just be like, why don't I come with you?
Yeah, I know. It was so funny because like they were setting it up. Will was like depressed. He's like, I'm going alone. And then Sonny jumps in, is like, we're doing this together as a family, husbands, New Zealand. And then here comes Allie talking about, I'm coming with Henry. Like, just invites herself along. And then she had the nerve to be like, well, I have no job, no money, no one to help me. And then she's like, why don't I bring Henry with me?
Yeah, I know. So they're getting Allie and Henry. That's just what the gay couple that want some time alone after some time apart. They want a 20-ish-year-old girl and the kid
with no money. Who's gonna
with no money?
If I were Sonny, if I were Will, I would have said.
You can make some good donuts, probably though.
Oh, she could take Sweet Bits International.
New Zealand Sweet
Yeah,
Bits office in New Zealand.
the New Zealand office. If I were Will, I would have looked at everybody and said thanks, but no thanks. Thank you, but no thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I guess, well, all right. Well, bye New Zealand. I mean, bye Salem for New Zealand.
Yeah.
So is that it for them? Like, are they just all?
They just all going to embark on New Zealand? It sounds like
it. That's it. Like, there's no other closures they get.
I think we get a little bit more. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, can you imagine if it was like, why don't I come too? And then next week's episode starts off with John being like, so you're going off to New Zealand, eh?
No, the way I thought it was going to go down was like that was their last episode, and then we're going to hear next week about everyone landed in New Zealand.
Everyone's in
like, okay, well,
or
I think
someone being on the.
There's just more. There's more closures that need to happen before that. But
like
sometimes they do that. Sometimes it's just like gone.
Like someone being on the phone being like, "Oh, good, you made it to New Zealand."
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. Well, give Henry and Ari my love. All right. Oh, those kids. Well, they all landed safely. Right. I will tell you, the whole Alex underneath the table bugged me. and I love that Chanel was like,
hang on a second.
It's like, no, it's oh no, I just changed my ringtone. You don't have to. Just as I thought.
For me,
you can come out, Alex.
The fact that he silenced it the first time, but didn't, or he like stopped it the first time, but didn't silence it for the second time. Like, come on, like you would immediately have silenced the phone.
You cute, but you dumb.
Yeah,
rookie mistake. Oh, John Del Rey, Tony, do John Black again. Y'all know I love impressions. I'm not gonna do it again though because I can't remember what I did the first time. It's like, oh hey, so you made it to New Zealand, huh? That's a fact.
I love that John's the one filling everyone in. Like he's got enough to do.
Oh, not someone saying
Maggie.
Right. Not someone saying Alex has no luck with phones. Like Alex doesn't know how to turn off a phone from Annette Thompson. You know what I just realized? We put the comments up and we read them, but we don't read them out loud. And so people on the podcast probably have no idea that so I gotta remember to do that. What was that one? The Soap After Show with Jacarius Naylor says Raven Bowens killed that scene. Yes. All right. Well, we'll see what happens with everybody leaving. We're gonna move on to Paulina's school with Johnny, I think.
Like I was like, does she like Johnny or not? Because I feel like towards the end of their conversation, she was like, well, I mean, she was encouraging him to go after Wendy, which I think was her way of being like, stay away from Chanel.
Yeah.
But then she
stay away from Chanel.
She was like, basically like, you're the problem in that relationship. And to his defense, he was like, I'm not, he's like, the problem's Alex. That's the problem.
Like, I'm not doing anything.
But then she was like, you're a handsome boy. You got money. You can get another. I was like, okay, she likes Johnny. She just doesn't want him with Chanel.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I think she has a problem with Johnny per se. Just stay away from my daughter's relationship with Allie. Yeah.
So I have to ask again. I feel like I do these polls and then I forget that I did them. But after this week, just another check-in. Who do we see Wendy with? Do you like Wendy and Johnny or Wendy and Trip?
I'm still Wendy and Trip, even though I think she's fine with Johnny. But I think when they put her with Trip, it was like I felt like there were more sparks, or them to me were a little bit more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fine with Wendy, with either one. Honestly, at this point, I just want her to like Wendy needs to pick one and stay with him for a while. Like I feel like the last couple of weeks they've been having her bounce back and forth. Well, and Johnny too, like with Chanel and her. But now that Allie's gonna be,
off to New
going
Zealand.
to New Zealand, Chanel's gonna be single. So I don't know.
I know, just Johnny.
I'm kind of torn.
My mom likes Wendy and Trip, and I have to agree too. Mm-hmm. There's something just very easy breezy, beautiful cover girl about Wendy and Trip. Mm-hmm. So I like that. All right. Well, that was it. We are just breezing through. That was your week of days. And now we're going to start with our segments, and we're going to start with mine, which is Tony's official 3 Snaps Award. Oh, snap! All right, so listen. This 3 Snaps Award goes to the person who was like, we going to hell? Oh, hell no. So when Kate was listening, Kate was very much like, oh my gosh, Marlena, thank you. That's so sweet of you. Well,
I don't think she's going to change her mind.
Yeah. I mean, Kate was not having it. She was like, I'm not trying to go down the hill. Like, thank you, Marlena, but and that look of like, oh, hell no, I'm not about to go to hell, honey. That's not about to happen. And then she finally softened, and I was like, yeah. But that first moment of like, So, Lauren Koslow, Kate Roberts, you get Tony's official for your hell no, I ain't going to hell. 3 Snaps Award. Oh, snap! And now it's time for Caption That.
All right, this Caption That photo comes courtesy of John and Steve post funerals that we didn't see. And this week's caption, I didn't get, like, honestly, and I'm one to talk because I can't caption things for crap, but there was a lot of like inappropriateness in the about these two this week. And I was just like, oh, like not fun inappropriateness. I was just kind of like, oh, no. So MVP of Caption That, Megan Bizarro, you get the winner. Twinsies partner, that's a fact.
Cute.
Yeah. And that has been Caption That. We don't have It's a Gift, but guess what we do have? Those were the days.
Yes, I'm taking you back to February 17th, 1994, where we had the wedding of Tony and Kristen, later retconned to be Andre, but in this instance, it was Tony. Tony and Kristen got married. Somewhat brief marriage. For those that are confused, they are brother and sister, but they are adopted. They did not grow up together. They were sort of put together kind of by Stefano a bit. Growing up, Kristen always did have a crush on Tony, but they didn't live together. Tony was raised by Daphne. Most of you know, Kristen and Peter were raised with Stefano and Celeste. But yeah, they got together on the show for a few years. It was a lot of back and forth with her and John in the mix. But yeah, that was February 17th, 1994, where Tony and Kristen got married in their sort of ill-fated nuptials back in the day.
Uh-oh. And for those of you who recognize Jason Brooks, who played Peter Blake, we actually did an interview with him like 6 years ago that is posted. So go and check out that interview that we did with Jason Brooks, a.k.a. Peter Blake. And we've mentioned him a few times on the show of, bringing him back as well. So,
and for those of you that know, there's a lot going on in that picture. Wink, wink. Those of you that know.
That's that meme.
What do you mean?
You know, you know. And like that has been. And that has been. That has been.
That's the real gossip now. I mean,
before y'all start something that y'all ain't supposed to. That was 18 years ago. Y'all trying to get this show shut down. Now go on to the next thing.
Talk about gossip now. All right. We're news.
Honest. News and gossip.
Starting off, we have some casting news. We're starting with our friend Sean Christian, who played Daniel Jonas. He is going to be guesting on the series premiere of Magnum PI. For fans of the show, it has moved over to NBC now and picked up. This is the reboot of Magnum PI with Jay Hernandez. He will be guest starring on the season premiere. It's a 5th season airing tonight. Check your local listings. Don't know yet if the character is going to be recurring or not, but check it out. We hope we'll see him in the future on the show. But yeah, big congrats to Sean Christian on guest starring on Magnum PI tonight. Go check it out. Next up, we have Miss Jackie, Harry, and Lamone Archie are reuniting again for a Lifetime movie. Make sure I get this right. It's called Every Breath She Takes. I believe they just started filming the last couple of weeks, so they're it's going to be like an early spring sort of movie. So we will keep you
spring September.
Yeah.
Joggers.
Spring,
fall,
September.
summer, fall.
Joggers. That'll be spring, summer.
Yes.
Lifestyle.
So we'll keep you updated on them. But yes, they are reuniting in a Lifetime movie coming soon. We'll keep you posted. Speaking of more Lifetime movies, our good friend Chriselle Strauss looking amazing. She's had a Lifetime premiere of her new movie called, let me make sure I get this right, A Rose for Her Grave. It actually premiered last night, but Lifetime movies, they will be re-airing all day today and all day throughout the week. So check your local listings. But yeah, good to see Chriselle sort of get back into acting, even if I mean, we just saw her on Days the last couple of weeks, and we all know she's busy with reality TV and everything. But it's always good to see her like acting and being an actress.
She looks really good there.
Yeah, she looks great.
Glowing.
Calm
good
down.
for her.
Calm down.
What'd you say?
Next up on news.
Next up, we have our fan events. We have the one Eric Martzoff is doing with Rick Springfield. That one's take place October 5th through 9th. All tickets and information take place in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic.
What you call me?
Information. If it fits, go to springfieldgetaway.com.
You hadn't heard before.
Tickets and I know exactly. Tickets and information, go check out. It'll be a fun time. Next up, we have a couple of events from Starstruck Fan Events. Damn, Michael, let me get.
What happened?
I put the wrong slide in.
Completely.
What'd you put up? I'm gonna have to go back and watch it.
No. Yes, Michael, you're not going to put it back up, all right? Starstruck Fan Events.
Yeah, I don't have it. Sorry.
One coming up March through 11th through 12th in Atlanta, and then we have the one April 15th and 16th in Morristown, New Jersey, hosted by our very own Mr. Tony Moore. All tickets and information, go to starstruckfanevents.com. And last but not least, still talking about our host with the most, Mr. Tony Moore, his independent film is part of the official selection of the Hollywood Real Independent Film Festival here in LA, taking place. Let me make sure I got the date right, Tony.
February 25th.
Yes, February 25th, LA Live, downtown.
How many papers do you have sitting there, Justin?
What?
How many papers do you have sitting there? It sounds like you have like a pile of where is it?
So sometimes I don't write it out every single time because I know I'm rotating them between different weeks. So yeah. So that's why.
Not Justin trying to act like, hi, I'm Justin with DD News. Shuffling papers. Like, girl, you don't use one sheet of paper and highlight what you're supposed to say?
Tony Moore. Yes, go see Tony Moore. Short film Kevin. Ringing endorsement for it.
It's next Saturday. Saturday the 25th, downtown LA at 5 p.m. during the LGBT shorts. And it's Eventbrite.
Yes. For all details, just head over to At Lounging with Tony. Yeah. And we'll post it there. Perfect. What comes after? And now, everyone, it is time to see what is coming up this week on your favorite Peacock exclusive, Days of Our Lives.
Sorry, wrong one.
Roman, can you hear me?
Well, Roman,
stepped out for a moment. Can I take a message?
Are you saying that we're still alive?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
If this isn't Earth, how can we be alive?
The incubation of the situation.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Not me like leaning in, trying to listen to all the whispers
The
as they
voices.
yeah. There
I
was
know
a
we
lo-
heard Paulina,
we heard Paulina.
Mhm.
Kate,
We heard
obviously.
There's
There's
there
Paulina
was
in the mix. Like,
I feel like she hears Kate.
that's
like,
what I'm
like
thinking.
Roman did, and I can just
Yeah.
see Jackie being like, "Can I take a message? He ain't here."
or just being like, what in the devil is going on in here? All right. Well, we have some stuff to look forward to this week on Days of Our Lives. Well, thank you guys so much. Wow, I feel like this is a record for how quickly we've gotten through this show today.
Oh my God! Wow.
Yeah, and well before Michael Mattis has to pee. Speaking of, before we head out, Michael Mattis,
Yeah.
tell the fine folks where they can find you.
Excuse me. You can find me on Twitter at ML. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at ML Mattis.
You know, I thought gone were the days where you would flub this up.
So did I.
Now,
It's a nice little throwback.
they're
Callback.
back. Justin, where can they find you?
Find me on Instagram at Justin Hareld.
Just Instagram. And you can find Araceli only on Twitter at Tia323Araceli. And you can find me on all social media platforms at Lounging with Tony. Hey, if you have TikTok or follow me on Instagram, check out my brand new show called The Countdown. Yeah, I'm going to plug myself. James Lott Jr. taught me how to do that. But you guys can follow me on you can follow all of us on all the social media platforms. Dishin Days Show on Facebook, Dishin Days on Instagram, and Dishin Days on the Twitter. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We appreciate you. And we'll be back next week serving up a full dish of this coming week's episodes of Peacock's exclusive #1 award-winning hit soap opera, Days of Our Lives. Until then, everyone have a beautiful week. Enjoy yourself, stay safe, and have a great one. See you next week, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.